This is a Lexus RX350 with a 3.5 liter V6 engine. We are replacing the Serpentine belt tensioner, which is this part right here. Here I've put this old tensioner in this vise just for the purpose of testing it, and when I push on it, I don't know if you can hear that. There's a unusual noise that it makes. I just happen to have an engine on a stand, and it can show you how the tensioner fits onto the block. And unfortunately, this sits right behind the AC, so the AC pump has to come off, and I'm not 100% sure that I can get the tensioner off without taking the alternator off. So we're going to be finding out here shortly. First step for this job is to pull some of the plastics back so we can have access here, and we're going to remove this belt right away. To remove the belt, I put a 14mm socket onto the tensioner bolt, and then you have to turn it counterclockwise to release the tension. And at the same time, see that little hole right there? When it lines up with the opening on the block, you want to insert a little hex key right through there to hold the tensioner in the released position. I'll show you in a minute. So there you can see how I slipped the key through and the tension on the belt is released. The belt can be removed. Next, I'm going to separate the AC compressor from the block, and without disconnecting the AC hoses, I'm just going to try to move it forward far enough so that I can access the bolts that hold the tensioner to the block behind the AC compressor. I have freed up the engine harness and pushed it up above the AC compressor. So there's a bottom bracket, a support for the harness that goes across these two bottom bolts of the AC. This is the bottom support bracket for the harness, and there's another support bracket for the AC plug connector and also the crankshaft position sensor connector that goes back above the AC and behind it. So all of these wires and support brackets have to be moved out of the way, or there is no chance of moving the AC compressor. So I've cleared pretty much everything out of the way. I've removed the two bottom bolts from the compressor. I removed the two top nuts from the compressor. Now the top mounts for the compressor are long studs. You can see one of them sticking out there on the top of the frame, and there is no way this compressor is going anywhere unless I remove both of these studs. Okay, now these studs have a Torx head, and I'm gonna pray and hope that they will respond to my Torx socket without stripping. Turns out, thankfully, that these studs are not very tight. They started turning with hardly any effort at all. There's a view of the topmost bolt of the tensioner, and it is tucked right behind the alternator. And there is not going to be any way to turn that bolt, neither for love nor for money, without loosening the alternator and removing the support bracket, the bottom support bracket for the alternator. It has a stud on the right and a bolt on the left going into the alternator. Oh joy, let's proceed with that. I've taken off all the plastic engine covers and I've loosened the top alternator bolts. Also, I've disconnected all of the alternator electrical. And you can see how the harness has been pulled back. Now I'm going to go back from underneath and get to some of the other alternator bolts from underneath. There is another alternator bolt. Right there is the bottom bolt. That one is going to come off entirely. So what am I doing now? I'm suctioning out the refrigerant from the AC system. I got 3 out of the 5 bolts of the tensioner out, but there's 2. It's just impossible to remove with the AC compressor in the car. So I'm going to have to remove it from the car, and of course I start by evacuating all of the refrigerant. I don't just dump it out into the atmosphere. It's a pollutant and a greenhouse gas. I opened the AC lines and I flipped the compressor out of the way, and now I have access to the 2 remaining bolts. Here is the new tensioner installed in place, and I want to show you the location of the 5 mounting bolts again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up here is the 5th one. And this right here is the crankshaft position sensor with the wiring that comes from above the AC compressor. This is the bottom support bracket for the harness before reattaching the harness. It's mounted on the 2 bottom bolts of the AC compressor. And here it is with all the harness connectors reattached.